My wife makes all the money now, while I'm home playing mommy and making sure the house is clean and dinner's ready when she gets home from work. And somewhere along the way, I stopped being a husband and became the help. Another expense she has to manage. It didn't happen all at once, you know? I used to tell my wife it was okay for men to stay home and look after the kids if their wife was making more money. But there wasn't some big moment where we sat down and decided she'd be the breadwinner and I'd be the stay-at-home dad. It just sort of happened. We were both so happy when she got that scholarship for her PhD overseas. I had to resign from my job so I could stay home with the kids. While she was studying, I taught her how to use LinkedIn as a networking tool, and years later she built a wealth of connections long before she even finished her degree or her humanitarian work. Everyone, including my mother, told me I'd get my time back when the kids got older. But these kids are growing so fast that they need steady attention and guidance now more than ever. My wife already had some offers, so she came back home and went straight to work, while I stayed home. I told myself it was just another temporary adjustment. Just until I figured things out. Just until I got back on my feet. But temporary turned into months. And months turned into this. Whatever this is. And the thing is, she doesn't complain. She doesn't throw it in my face or make me feel small about it. She goes to work, she comes home tired, and she handles it. But I can feel the shift. I can feel the way the dynamic has changed. The way I've become less of a partner and more of a support system for her life. She's the one making decisions now, sometimes buying things we didn't both agree on, because she's the one bringing in the money. She's the one who gets to be tired, who gets to need space, who gets to have a hard day and go to bed 28 days a month without making out with the person lying next to them in bed. And me? I'm just here, managing the chaos so she doesn't have to. I remember the first time I asked her for money. Not like, hey, can I borrow $20? But like, actually asking permission to spend money that technically belongs to both of us but feels like it's only hers. I needed something small, I don't even remember what, and I stood there trying to figure out how to ask without sounding like a child asking their mom for allowance money. And when I finally did, she said yes. Of course she said yes. But it didn't matter. Because I felt that shift. That moment where I realized I wasn't a man providing for his family. I was a dependent. My father worked his entire life. He worked jobs he hated, hours that killed him, doing things that broke his body and his spirit. All so my mother wouldn't have to. And it still wasn't enough. She still looked at him like he was failing. Like he should have been more, done better, climbed higher. But at least he was working. At least he could say he was trying to provide, even if it never felt like enough. I don't even have that. I'm not working. I'm not providing. I'm playing mommy, washing dishes, doing and folding laundry, picking up toys. And every day I feel more like I'm disappearing into this role that wasn't supposed to be mine. My father died at 63, still trying to prove he was enough. I'm 33, and I've already stopped trying because I know I'm not. He worked himself to death, chasing a version of manhood he could never reach. And I'm sitting at home, watching my wife become the man I was supposed to be. I don't know how to be a man when I'm not providing. I know that sounds old-fashioned, maybe even toxic, maybe even a little misogynistic, but it's the truth. Everything I was taught about being a husband, being a father, being a man, it all starts with one thing. You provide. You take care of your family. You make sure they're safe, fed, stable. And when you can't do that, when your wife is the one doing it instead, you start to wonder what you're even good for. She tells me I'm doing important work, that raising the kids and managing the house matters just as much as bringing in money. And logically, I know she's right. But logic doesn't stop the feeling. It doesn't stop the voice in my head that says I'm failing, that I'm less than, that I'm not really a man anymore. Because society doesn't celebrate the stay-at-home dad the way it celebrates the stay-at-home mom. Nobody looks at me with respect. They look at me with pity, or judgment, or confusion, like they're trying to figure out what went wrong. And the worst part? I've started to see myself the way I think everyone else sees me. As the guy who couldn't make it work. The guy whose wife had to step up because he couldn't. The guy who's just here, taking up space. I look at my kids sometimes and wonder what they'll remember about me. Will they remember a father who loved them? Or will they just remember the guy who was always home because he had nowhere else to be?
If you're going through this too, if your wife or partner or girlfriend is the breadwinner and you're the one at home feeling like you're shrinking into nothing, I need you to know something. I don't have the answers. I don't know how to fix this feeling, how to reclaim whatever part of myself I've lost in this process. But I know you're not alone in it. I know there are other men out there wondering if they're still men at all, or if they've just become something else entirely. This is the reality nobody talks about. The reality of what it feels like when the roles reverse. When you're doing everything you're supposed to do, but it still doesn't feel like enough because it's not the thing you were taught mattered most. And maybe that's the cycle I'm trying to break. Maybe my father's generation had it wrong. Maybe being a man isn't about how much money you bring home. But I'm not there yet. I'm still stuck in the middle, still feeling like I'm failing, still wondering if my wife looks at me and sees a partner or just another responsibility. I'm still here, trying to figure out who I am in a life that doesn't look anything like I thought it would. And if you're still here too, still showing up even when you feel like nothing, then maybe that's enough for today. I'm Dad alone. And so are you. See you next time.